Greetings everyone, it's Kaz here with a news update on Crackdown 3 and I guess subsequently the launch of the Xbox One X, and that is because it has been announced that Crackdown 3, which was of course Microsoft's biggest first party exclusive title coming with the launch of Xbox One X, it was their big game for this fall. It was the thing they were clearly going to push the most, and it's now been delayed. It's been knocked out of the fall time and it's now been delayed until spring of 2018. I'll get into the ramifications of this delay in a little bit, but first let's take a look at what Shannon Loftus, who's the Microsoft Studios Publishing General Manager, said to Polygon regarding the delay. We're very excited about Crackdown 3 and so many fans, and it's a difficult call to move the release date. However, we want to make sure to deliver the right game with the right quality at the right time. Crackdown 3 is a hugely ambitious game, and we want to ensure we deliver the right experiences all the way through every part of the game, whether that's campaign, co-op multiplayer, or our competitive multiplayer mode, Wrecking Zone. Getting the balance right between the three modes is important, and we're going to take the extra development time to ensure that. Gamers can expect Crackdown 3 in spring of 2018. So this is not the first delay that Crackdown 3 has suffered. As a matter of fact, the game was announced and revealed at E3 2014 and was originally planned to release this time last year in the second half of 2016, and we didn't hear a lot from the devs in terms of Crackdown 3 for a while until E3 this year, and that's when we heard more about the title and we finally got the release date for this year, and again it's been delayed. So in terms of why the game's been delayed, it's the case with pretty much every game that's ever delayed. The team needed more time to make it the best experience possible, which is great. I've got absolutely zero issue with developers delaying their games at all. If they need the extra time to make this a better experience, if they just mucked up and simply misjudged how long certain things were going to take in the development process, and they need that extra time, and they want to make it the best experience for the consumer and the gamer as possible, that's fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant, and they should absolutely do that. Because sure, maybe some people will complain in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to pan out better for everyone involved. But there is a much bigger problem with this delay, and that is regarding Microsoft. Their first party lineup is completely abysmal. It was already pathetic for this year, to be honest with you, and now they've lost their biggest AAA title. That's a huge blow, and I honestly don't think they're going to be able to recover from it, and it's devastating for them now with the launch of Xbox One X coming. The thing has no first party games of really any major consequence releasing alongside it, and that's really not a good thing at all. Microsoft's first party lineup has been a point of discussion for a lot of gamers, especially over the past year, as it became apparent that that lineup, especially compared to Sony's and even Nintendo's as well, that it just could not stand up in the slightest. The platform, Xbox One that is, was just not getting enough first party games, and now it's just looking a hell of a lot worse. At least last year they had their big fall game being Gears of War 4, and that was critically acclaimed, and I'm sure it sold pretty damn well as well, and that's fantastic. Instead they had Crackdown 3, and of course, while it did have its fan base and I guess people were semi-excited for it, the game was certainly never going to pack quite the same punch that other titles in their lineup would have done. And now even the minimal impact Crackdown 3 would have had is pretty much gone now. So that's really not looking good for the Xbox One X and Microsoft as a whole. But let's have a look at Microsoft's major first party games from 2017 and a little bit beyond as well. In terms of games released this year, the only AAA exclusive that Microsoft has had on the Xbox One this year is Halo Wars 2. And again, that is meant to be a decent game, but it's just not good enough. In terms of later this year, with the launch of the Xbox One X, alongside it, we have Super Lucky's Tale, which, when I saw that at E3, I really didn't like the look of it at all, to be honest with you. It looked like a really budget 3D platformer, and I love 3D platformers. It's one of my favourite genres, man. Especially since we have Super Mario Odyssey releasing around the same time, it's just not going to have anything on it at all. And considering you're selling the Xbox One X as the most powerful console ever with 4K visuals, a budget-looking platformer like Super Lucky's Tale really isn't going to help your cause. So now that Crackdown 3's been delayed, the only big AAA game that the Xbox One X is launching with is Forza Motorsport 7. Of course, racing games are visually incredibly impressive, meaning they are always great pieces of software to show off what the new generation of hardware can do. It just makes so much sense to launch a console with a racing game. But again, Forza Motorsport 7, it looks gorgeous, people are going to be excited for it, but can it move units? And the answer is probably not no, because there's a new Forza mainline game every 2 years. It's going to come out, people are going to enjoy it, but it's not going to have an impact in our industry, and I think that's pretty damn obvious. But again, beyond that, the only other major Microsoft first-party title that I can think of, I do believe, is Sea of Thieves, and that's coming out sometime in 2018, and that game does look like it has potential, but honestly, it's certainly not my type of game in the slightest. The whole multiplayer shared world stuff isn't for me, and business-wise, Microsoft just has to be hoping that the game actually meets its release date of 2018. So first-party games-wise, Microsoft's lineup in terms of how impactful these games will be is spread incredibly thin right now. When you compare that to Sony and PlayStation 4, it's just incredibly obvious why that console is so much more successful. I mean, they've got God of War, they've got Detroit, they've got Spider-Man, they've got Death Stranding, they've got The Last of Us Part 2, they've got a new Uncharted game coming out next week. And I mean, there's probably more I haven't even mentioned just because I've forgotten, because of how many there are. And the proof is in the pudding with how successful the PS4 is, that first-party exclusive titles sell consoles. It's a fact. Sony has done such a great job of pushing the message with PS4 that this console is for the gamers. They've done such a good job at showing that we have the best games, we have so many incredible exclusives, and they're just consistently delivering with that, and they continue to do so throughout next year and even beyond that as well. I think the sun has set on Xbox One, even though the Xbox One X hasn't even launched yet. I do think that in terms of Microsoft's first-party games, it's all over for this generation of consoles, and I think internally in Microsoft, they're thinking to themselves that we have to push all of our big games to the launch of the next generation of Xbox, whether that be the Xbox 2, whatever the hell you want to call it. There's no chance in hell a new Halo 6 or another Gears of War, anything along those lines is launching on Xbox One at a later point this generation. That is all being pushed to the next generation of consoles. I think that's clearly obvious because Microsoft knows that's where they've actually got a chance to perhaps get in front of Sony. Please do remember to leave your thoughts on Crackdown 3's delay and Microsoft's first party situation in the comment section down below. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you for watching today's video. All my social links are in the description down below, and if you are new to my channel, please do check out some of my other content and subscribe if you like what you see. I'll see you all next time. Do take care. Farewell.